Okay. All right. So welcome everybody to our December Business After Hours. I'm very happy that we are able to meet this evening. It is Wednesday, December 9th, 5:30 p.m. And tonight's presentation is going to be with Brian Matula and Faz Ali from M&T Bank. And they're going to talk about the 6 C's of credit, which I think is going to be a great topic. And they're very knowledgeable about it. And I look forward to hearing what they have to say. So Brian, you want to start things off?
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Matula. I'm a business banker and lender at M&T Bank. I've been in banking for the past 20 years, but for the past 7 years, I've been specializing in working with small businesses in the New Jersey state. For the most part, providing capital and helping them grow, whether it be working capital, real estate acquisition, practice acquisition, all things small business. I really have a passion for it, and I look forward to presenting the 6 C's of credit. And we're also going to talk about what goes into a personal credit score. I know that that's an intriguing topic for everyone, and I hope it'll provide some valuable information on how to improve your credit score.
Excellent. Faz, I know that most people know who you are since you're very heavily involved in the chamber, and you are one of our board members. As of today, it was his first board member meeting, so congratulations on that. Why don't you, if you can, just come a little, I don't know if you can come a little closer or talk really loud so we can hear you.
Oh, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. You know, as small business owners and as consumers of banking, you are very familiar with certain things, right? Whether it's day-to-day banking, deposits, savings, credit cards, and as business owners probably are familiar with merchant services and so on. But one of the most important things about banking is credit. It also is the most contentious thing because we all know how important credit is to the national economy, to the local economy, and to small businesses, right? Absent credit, small business cannot grow, and if businesses cannot grow, then it poses a lot of problems for the economy and for a standard of living and so on. So credit is a very important thing. When I talk to small business owners, they all tell me that, look, I understand merchant, I understand cash management, I understand the deposit side of it, but when it comes to credit, it seems like it's a mystery to me. So what we wanted to do today is to discuss with you how the banking industry assess, not underwriting, but how to assess a small business request for credit. So this is very generic. It's not M&T specific. It is industry specific. So as a small business owner, you go to your banker, you said, I want to get 50,000, I want to get 200, whatever it is I want to get, whether it's for short-term day-to-day cash management or whether it's for to meet cashless situations. And the banker asks you for certain information and you religiously go and you get that information. But once you give that information to your banker, what goes on? For the people who are looking at your business and looking at you, for many small business owners, that is a mystery. So the 6 C's of credit today is designed to really give you a very good preview of what your banker looks like, what your banker would look for, and how to assess that. As Brian said, he has over 20 years of banking experience, and he is my partner, and we work together as a team. He's intimately involved in credit for all my clients, and he's heavily involved with me in the Freehold, managing the Freehold market. So he's been doing this every single day, and it's he's a real expert in it. So Brian is going to share with you. He's going to run you through these 6 C's. And if you have any questions, because it's such a small group, if you have any questions or you want to stop and he can answer that, we can do that. We don't have to wait till the end of the presentation. So Terese, if you will, can you get to the slides that says the 6 C's of credit?
Absolutely. Okay, can you all see the slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, you ready for the next slide?
Yeah, a second. Perfect.
Okay, everyone. So these are the 6 C's of credit. They originated as the 5 C's of credit, but here at M&T, we added the 6th C, and that's competency. And I'll get to that at the very end of this slide. And what I'll do is I'll go through each C, and I'll pause for a moment to see if anyone has any questions. And if there are no questions, I'll move on to the next C. So when we're talking about the 6 C's of credit, the first C we look at is character. And what character is from a measurement standpoint is the borrower's reputation or track record for paying debts. And the way we can figure out what the borrower's reputation or track record is by pulling the borrower's credit score. And a credit score tells a lot of things for a bank to analyze a customer and assess whether there's a good opportunity to lend or if there's a risk with this particular borrower. And after we move to the next slide, we'll talk about what goes into a credit score. And that's really the first thing a bank does when they get a credit request. And that's pulling a person's credit to assess their character and repaying debt. The second C is conditions. And that's the purpose of the loan. Why does the business want to borrow the loan? That's so important and crucial when we're looking at a request as a bank. We want to make sure that it makes sense. Is the business borrowing money for a particular need? Is it to grow? Is it to sustain employees? Most recently, that was with the PPP program. You may know what's happening with the CARES Act. When we're looking at conditions, we're also looking at market and conditions. How is the market currently? For example, the market now is in distress because of the pandemic, which causes the bank to tighten its belt, so to speak. So we have to take a look at certain risks and certain mitigants that can mitigate the risks that are in place. Are there any questions so far about character or conditions? And if you'd like, you can also, if you are a business owner, you can address a particular unique question towards your business. I'd be happy to answer it. The third C is capital, and capital is cash, right? You may have heard the saying, cash is king. And that is so true. That is so true. That's how a bank views it. In addition to character, how has that particular business or business owner been repaying debt in the past? Capital means how much cash does the business have on hand? How much cash is the borrower, meaning the business or the business's owner, willing to inject into this particular project? So what a bank wants to see, and this is another cliche, how much, so to speak, skin in the game does the borrower have? Are they willing to take on some risk as well? Because when a bank is lending money to a business, the bank is taking on risk. So it's really a partnership between the bank and the business, and we want to see that that business has the same intent and is confident that it will succeed. So we want to see how much cash the business is willing to inject into this particular loan. What that may mean is, let's say, for an example, a business wants to buy a building where they can move their business into. The business is currently renting, and they want to acquire an asset, start building equity in that asset. We would ask for a down payment, similar to a residential loan. If a business wants to buy a piece of real estate, we're going to ask for a cash injection, maybe 20%, 30%, depending upon the type of transaction it may be. This indicates the borrower's level of seriousness. In most cases, you won't see a bank lend 100% of a borrower's request or the project cost. Okay, are there any questions about capital? Terrific. Capacity is probably the most important part of the 6 C's of credit. And what capacity does, it measures the cash flow or ability to repay the loan. So when we're looking at a loan request, we're going to collect historical tax returns or accountant prepared financials. And what we'll do is we'll run a cash flow analysis versus the debt or the loan that is being requested. And we'll also include any current debt that the business may have. And in most cases, M&T Bank and most other banks want a 1.2 to 1.25 debt coverage ratio. What that basically means is we want to see that the business is able to cover all existing debt and the proposed debt at 1.2 times. Okay. Collateral. Collateral is a second form of repayment for a bank. What that means is if for some reason a business can no longer make the monthly payments, which is really what a bank is looking for, unfortunately, the bank may have to seize the collateral that was pledged for the loan. To give you an example of what collateral could be, real estate, for example, is collateral similar to a residential mortgage. If a business applies for a commercial mortgage, the bank would take that particular building or piece of property as collateral. In the case, unfortunately, if the business can't repay the debt, the bank may have to seize the collateral. But there are other types of out-of-the-box ways a bank can collateralize a loan. For example, if a bank or a business is looking for working capital, working capital usually comes in the form of a line of credit. What that means is, and to give you an example how a working capital line is used, if you have a manufacturer that manufactures a particular product and sends that product to a customer, there may be terms in place between the manufacturer and the customer where the manufacturer may not get paid for 30, 60, 90 days. So what a business would use a line of credit for is to pull from to cover short-term expenses while the business is waiting for payment from their customer. In many cases, a bank can use an accounts receivable aging report as collateral. What that basically means is the manufacturer has 50 clients, and those 50 clients are on different payment schedules. A bank can assess that particular report and validate the viability of those businesses or customers, and we can extend credit based on those receivables. Unfortunately, again, if the business can't repay the debt on the line of credit, those receivables become the property of the bank, and the bank would go collect on those payments that were owed to the manufacturer. Does anyone have any questions about those first 5 C's of credit? Has anyone on the call ever had a business credit facility? Okay. And then the final 6 C of credit is competency. And what that really means is here at M&T, we want to see that the business owner has experience in running the business, how the business has been run over the past however many years the business has been in place. So we'll do a little research on the business owner. We'll interview the business owner, get an understanding of how competent the business owner is to get us more comfortable with extending the loan or line of credit. So those are basically the 6 C's of credit. Anyone who particularly may have a question about this can reach out to Faz or myself. If you wanted to have more of a one-on-one conversation, we can talk about that, and I'd be happy to do that.
And I see Matula is writing a couple of comments in the chat box. Matula, did you want to say something? No?
Okay, I had to unmute. I'm sorry. Yeah, most of those C's do resonate with me because I do have business credits across a few banks, and collateral is a big thing that they look for. What I did not get is what is the loan to value ratio that you do for some of the commercial credits that you do?
Sure. So when it comes to real estate, owner-occupied real estate would have, for most cases, an 80% loan to value. To simplify that, if the real estate was 100,000, and we know that that's not the case in New Jersey, M&T Bank and most banks would lend 80,000 on a $100,000 purchase. If it's investment real estate, we'll lend 75% at most, sometimes less, depending upon the request. So each request is unique, but we'll lend up to 75% on investment real estate. And what that means is if the real estate costs 100,000, we'll lend 75,000. When it comes to accounts receivable, that becomes a little bit more tricky. We'll lend up to 80% of the value of the accounts receivable due in under 90 days. So M&T and most banks, if we see a receivable that's not expected within the 90-day window, we'll discount that particular receivable. We're not entirely confident that receivable is going to be actually collected. So we'll take a look at the most current accounts receivable aging report for the business, and the value of those receivables within the 90-day window, we could consider lending up to 80% of that value. Now, please keep in mind that's just one component of what we'll look at. Obviously, we talked about character. We'd have to make sure that there was a good credit score and the owner of the business had good character. In many cases, we'll also do a Google search and a LexisNexis search to see if there are any criminal records or any derogatory records for the borrower. So the loan to value is one component of it. We'll also look at the credit score and the character, and the cash flow is key as well. So not one particular variable could lead to an approval. Everything has to be in place. There has to be good credit. There has to be good capacity, meaning that the business has to be able to service the debt, enough cash flow to repay the bank. There has to be collateral in place in most cases. Smaller loans, typically up to $100,000, the bank may consider lending without collateral. But for the most part, we want to have collateral in place as well. Equipment can be another form of collateral. So if you have a business that wants to buy equipment that could help meet the demand of whatever particular product or service that they're offering, equipment will lend up to maybe 40, 50% on average. If it's new equipment, we can consider going up to 80% of the value of the equipment. And then we have equipment leasing programs where we can lend up to 100% of the equipment.
Okay, good. Any other questions or comments?
And Brian, please ignore my lack of knowledge in this. I'm struggling with the account receivable being used as collateral. It's almost like insurance. I'm selling something that's a piece of paper. I mean, you have accounts receivable saying that you're going to have X amount of dollars within 90 days, up to a certain percentage of that. But what if those accounts receivable default? What if you can't collect those monies? How can that be used as collateral? There's no guarantees there.
Right. So in that instance, there's never a guarantee with anything. So in that instance, we want to make sure that there's strong cash flow and the business is a strong business. So we'll do our due diligence and we'll be comfortable that it's very unlikely that we would have to collect on those receivables.
Okay.
So we look for a strong debt service or debt to income ratio.
Okay.
What we'll also do is we'll take a look at the sponsors, or in that case, it would be the guarantors. So in most cases, a bank will ask for the owner of the business to be a personal guarantor. So we'll also do our due diligence on that owner and research the wherewithal of the owner. How much liquidity does that owner have? For example, if the business isn't able to make those monthly debt payments, does the owner have additional liquidity on hand that could make those payments?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And one other thing I'd like to add is we'll do due diligence on the customers that are on that accounts receivable report and the viability of those businesses. So if we look at the report and we're not comfortable with the businesses that owe money to our potential borrower, we may not be comfortable in extending the line of credit. So we'll do due diligence as well, that we're comfortable that those particular companies are good companies and they'll be able to pay the debt to the vendor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Okay. You want to go to the next slide, Brian?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the credit pie. Has anyone ever seen this? Okay, so this is really interesting information. If you've ever wondered, how is my credit score made up? My credit score may be 750, someone else's may be 620, someone else's may be 715. Everyone's credit score is different. It's kind of like a fingerprint. I wouldn't say that unique, but everyone's credit score is different. And you may wonder, how is my credit score made up and how can I improve it? And this pie chart will show you what goes into your credit score and how important each portion of that is towards your credit score. So if you can see on the bottom right, 35% of your credit score is made up of your payment history. That's if you pay your bills on time. If you don't pay your bills on time, it's going to impact your credit score significantly. So if you have a mortgage, you want to pay your mortgage on time every month. If you have a car payment, if you have credit cards, you want to pay those on time. Keep in mind, utility bills don't show up on your credit score. So if you're late on a gas bill or an electric bill, that won't show up on your credit score. It could lead to a judgment down the road, where that utility company will put a judgment on your credit score that will impact your credit score, but it's not something that will show up in your payment history. It would be something different as far as the judgment. 30% is how much you owe, and this is very important, and this is a good opportunity if you wanted to improve your credit score quickly, you can. And what that means is it's what you owe versus your available revolving debt. And what that basically means is if you have $10,000 in credit card credit available and you owe $9,000, that's 90% revolving credit usage. That will drag your credit score down significantly. If you have $10,000 in available credit and you only owe $1,000 or $2,000, that will lift your credit up significantly. The general rule is you want to have no more than 50% of your available credit used at any one time. Ideally, you don't want to go above 30%. So what that means is if you have $10,000 in available credit, you don't want to have any more than $3,000 drawn on your credit at any time. If you can manage to do that, your credit will be terrific as long as none of the other areas of the pie chart are impacted. Basically, if you wanted to improve your credit score, and if you take a look at all of your credit usage currently, and you have some cash on hand and you wanted to improve your credit score, lift it up, just pay down your revolving credit to 30% or less, and you'll see an immediate boost in your credit score the next time you pull your report. Give it about a month or so, 2 months at most. Okay, the next part of that is the length of your credit history. That's 15%. You can see that's pretty significant. So what that means is how long have you had credit for? And you may have heard people tell you that if you're not using your credit card to close it out because it will help your credit. That's not the case because that will impact your credit in 2 ways. If you close it out and it's one of the cards that you took out maybe when you were in college or younger, you're losing that length of credit history and it's going to bring your credit score down. So keep your credit cards open even if you're not using them. What it also does is it impacts your available credit usage. Right? So if you have a credit card with $2,000 in availability and you close it out, that reduces your available credit, which is going to increase how much you owe, that 30%. So by closing out that credit card can impact you in 2 areas of this pie chart, how much you owe and your length of credit history. Keep all your cards open, but to be safe, I know many people are concerned about fraud. Oh, I want to close this card out because I'm not using it. And if I'm not using it, I'm concerned somebody is going to.
Hold on, sorry, I had technical difficulty. I'm going to go back to the slides. I don't know what happened, but it jumped ahead and then it disappeared. So let me go back and find that slide again. And you can keep talking.
So what you should do is you routinely should pull your credit report. You can get 1 free credit report a year and it should not impact your credit score. There are also credit services and fraud services where you can see your credit report at any time if you wanted to pay a monthly fee.
Okay, so now let me just go back to where we were. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The next slice of the pie chart is credit mix. That means what types of credit do you have or have you had? If you have limited credit, meaning that you've never had a mortgage or a car loan or very limited amount of credit with credit cards, that would bring your score down. But if you have a nice mix, car loan that you're paying on time, a mortgage that you're paying on time, a couple of credit cards you're paying on time, that credit mix is going to bring your score up. The lack of a credit mix, you don't have that many things going on in your credit, maybe just one credit card with $1,000 balance, or excuse me, $1,000 credit availability, that will bring your score down. Okay. And then the final slice on the pie chart is new credit. Anytime your credit is pulled, it will bring your score down. So never apply for loans or lines unless you truly plan on using that particular credit. So just keep that in mind. Anytime your credit is pulled, it will bring your score down. Not significantly. You can see it's only 10%. But if you're constantly pulling your credit and applying for new credit, for example, I know people that will apply for every store, department store credit card because they want to get that discount. In the long run, it's going to bring their score down. And the interest rates on those cards are very high as well. So they're not the best use of a credit card. Does anybody have any questions about that?
This is actually great information, Brian, because I know credit score affects so many different parts of people's lives, from renting, from car loans. Your credit score determines how much interest you're going to pay on a car loan. Whether or not, what kind of responsibility, how responsible are you with your credit versus, you know, it affects your reputation for getting, I guess, for rent for an apartment. If you can talk about that, how your credit score affects you in other areas of your life, not just within the credit realm of your life.
That's right. So some people may think, oh, it's just a number, but that number has consequences. So if you're not managing your credit and you apply for a mortgage or a car loan and you have bad credit, you won't get the loan at all. If you have okay credit, you're going to pay a high interest rate or a premium on the loan. You'll get more requirements. If you have a good credit score, you're going to have more opportunities at lower interest rates and opportunities to get promotions that you won't necessarily get if you have bad credit. So it definitely plays an impact. It's important that you monitor your credit, know what's going on with your credit, check your credit report every so often, because there may be judgments or maybe a collection for $5 on there from maybe a gym membership or a medical bill that you can easily pay off and improve your credit score, and you wouldn't have any issues when you're applying for new credit. And in many cases, if you have a common name, that judgment may not be associated with you at all. That collection may be associated with someone else. So it's very important to scrub your report and make sure everything is accurate on the report. And also help to deter any fraud, because if you see a credit card on your report that you don't know about, then there may be an issue with identity fraud.
Yeah. Jackie, did you have a question? Audio. I was
just writing it. Does your credit score, and I'm glad Bonnie's on the call too, does your credit score affect your insurance rates? Because at one time I heard it did.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that with confidence. I have heard it impacts your insurance rates, but that's not my specialty or area of expertise. I can tell you for sure it impacts your loan rates. I'm a lender. But your credit score can impact many things, including your insurance rates. I've heard the same thing, but I couldn't speak definitively about that. I'm sorry, Jackie.
With the insurance, they do ask for the socials when rating the auto and the homeowners. And again, it's to see what kind of history you have. Also on the commercial side, we always run the FEIN numbers, okay? Again, to see what kind of, what kind of business they're running, you know, as far as, you know, financially. I don't know the exact, I'm not into rating. I don't know exactly how it's formulated, but I do know they do check against your credit, but it's a different type of check than what the banks or financial institutions use. And from my understanding, it does not affect your credit score when they run this, okay? It just gives them, I guess, a bench line of where this person is financially. I mean, as somebody who's had a lot of losses or some bankruptcies, or they have a terrible credit score, are they going to want to insure that $3 million home? Okay. You know, it's, I don't know the rhyme or reason within the mechanism. It's all computerized. But yes, the short answer is yes, they do check your credit.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Brian, you can continue.
Okay, so that pretty much concludes the presentation. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to all of you. I'm looking forward to meeting you on future Zoom calls and maybe one day in person.
Nice. That would be nice. We're done with the slides because I think questions have been answered all along. So I will stop sharing my screen. And okay. So Faz, is there anything you'd like to add before we go? We'll go around the room and introduce ourselves like we do at the park, so everyone can understand where we're coming from. But
thank you. Thank you very much, Brian. Again, as Brian said, if you have any questions or you wanted, someone who needs some advice, we are absolutely here to do one-on-ones. One of the things I want to say though is when it comes to small business owners, many times they come to us and we would act as an advisor capacity to them. And we would tell them, look, we don't think it's a good idea for you to borrow. Don't be disappointed. We're going to tell you no, but here's why we're going to tell you no. But here's what we think you need to do, right? So we stay with that person and we advise them. Within the last year and a half, I've had four business owners locally in the Freehold area came back to me. And they said, Baz, listen, thank you so much. You stopped me from borrowing when I thought I needed a loan. And it was the right thing to do. So as business owners, sometimes, you get disappointed because the bank wouldn't lend you. And that should be seen as a red flag if any bank declines you for credit. And that red flag is something you have to look at and say, you know what? I have to go back and really fix that. Or perhaps, it's the best thing for me in the long run. So credit it's a big thing. And as we come out of COVID next year, we have a vaccine now. And so many small businesses are looking to grow, to expand, to meet short-term capital needs, cash flow needs, and other things like that. I would say, go to your banker and first do a consultation, okay, before you actually start putting in applications there. And as you talk to your banker, you should be upfront and you should disclose, as Brian said, the purpose of the loan. You should talk to your banker about your capacity, about your collateral, and have that banker be more of a consultant to you upfront, before anything is done formally, before any credit is pulled. Let that banker take a look at that and give you an informal answer first, okay, before it goes through, the full underwriting, the credit and everything. And if you speak to any business owners, that's what you should advise them to do. That's what we did, So we are here for anyone in the community that needs us, whether it's the individual side or the small business side. So with that said, I would just, thank you, Terese, for the opportunity. And I'm so glad you're taping this because many people can go back and take a look at this and they can reach out to myself or Brian.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why don't you guys tell us, because there's no visual. Next time, I got to remember a visual with your names and your contact information so I can put that up on the screen. So why don't you tell us how people can get a hold of you?
So I am in the Freehold branch at M&T Bank, okay? And I am there every single day. What I will do, Terese, I will send an email with myself and Brian contact information. Okay. We'll have our emails and our cell phones and so on.
Great. I'm going to announce it now, so on the recording, when people play it back, they can understand how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. So my phone number is 732-431-4311.
Okay, great.
So 732-431-4311.
Excellent. And Brian?
Yes, my name is Brian Matula. You can reach me at 732-315-2741.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'll make sure that I put it, when we share the video, that we put that in the comment section of the video also. So, all right. Thank you so much. That was really good. And your banner looks really good in the background.
Thank you.
So why don't we go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves and do your 30-second commercial. Let's start with Jackie.
Oh, I'm unmuted just in time. Most of you know me. I'm Jackie Berman. I'm a Legal Shield and Identity Theft Associate. How many of you know people who do not have updated wills, healthcare power of attorneys, living wills? That's part of our Legal Shield services. Plus we have services for business owners. And every 2 seconds, somebody's identity is being stolen. And not only do we monitor it, we restore it back to where it was. And they're not going after just your money from your bank. They're going after you to do crimes in your name, to take, let's say, the PPE or the checks from you or whatever they can, Social Security. That's what they're really after, not just the money in the bank, because the bank will cover your money. So thank you, Jackie Berman, Legal Shield, ID Shield. And tomorrow, every Thursday at 1 o'clock, we have a presentation for business owners on why they should have Legal Shield. So thank you.
Where's that presentation?
It's on Zoom. I can put it up there.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything's Zoom now.
Yeah, everything is Zoom. And what time? What time?
1 o'clock.
You said 1 o'clock, and through you, is it your, how do they get on the call?
I'll put the link, you register, and then the link gets sent to you.
Okay, fantastic.
And it's a colleague of mine who does the presentation, but I'm on there co-hosting it with her.
Great. Fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's good to see you.
Same here.
Bonnie.
Hey, I'm Bonnie Preston. I'm a certified insurance counselor with Conover Beyer Associates. We're a commercial and personal lines property and casualty agency. I take the time to learn about your business, find out what your exposures are, your growth plan, your downsizing plan, and find the best way to insure your business and your personal assets in the most cost-effective way. And I'm always here available to any members of the chamber for any consultations they wish to have. I mean, I get the what if phone calls all the time, so feel free. Bonnie Preston, Conover Beyer.
Fantastic. And also, I just want to say that Bonnie is the co-chair of our membership committee. Faz also sits on our membership committee, and they are both Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce board members. So I just wanted to let people know that as well. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Also, Ann Murphy and Dubon.
Yes, and
I need to have a one-to-one on Brian, as I did with Tom, because we're looking to grow this regional chamber bigger. And I'm depending on Tom and Faz to push us out westward. And Brian, I would like to speak to you about us moving into lower Middlesex County.
That's right.
So.
Awesome. I love it.
I'm looking for help, ideas, introductions, because I want to really get this chamber one of the most powerful chambers in the state. So we've got the capability of doing that, but I need help.
Yes. The more hands, the better it is, right? It makes lighter work for everyone, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that being said,
I got to do my membership pitch.
Yes, no, that's why I'm perfectly happy with that. You know that. It's going to just benefit everybody in the chamber. So thank you, Bonnie, for the work you're doing. I appreciate it. And with that, let's go to the western side of Monmouth County, and let's go to Tom.
Thank you. And Bonnie, you forgot to mention there's no credit check required, right, for the new members? So,
no.
Okay. So that's good to know. My name is Tom Principe. My company is SalesSXess. So I work with small business owners that are struggling to grow sales revenue because they lack an experienced sales leader. So I take on that role for the small business owner, work with them to make sure they have the right people in place, make sure they have the right processes in place, and help them to grow sales revenue by taking on the role of a part-time head of sales. Tom Principe, SalesSXess.
Very good. And Ann, you're up. I don't know. Are you by your computer? Because your audio is
no,
on.
she texted me. She was having trouble hearing us.
No.
Let me see if.
Okay, so while we see if Ann can get on, why don't we jump over to Danielle? Danielle, are you there?
Hold on one second. I'm trying to just get myself, I was having trouble with my Zoom. Okay, can you see me?
Yes.
Sorry.
Lovely background, by the way.
That's
the original Danielle Arno from ArtWorx.
That one actually was. You caught me playing with the backgrounds when I got a new laptop, and I've been having so much trouble. I haven't been able to yet connect my AirPods, but my son is sneaking in on the side. I apologize. So I've been muted and off because my kids are always close. So anyway, hi, I'm Danielle Arno from ArtWorx Events. I host parties for creative fun, whether it's corporate or personal, private, birthday, holiday, any type of event. I was doing outdoor events. It looks like for the time being, we are finished with those. What I've been telling people is if it happens to be like a beautiful time for weather and we're having like a last minute warm day, you're welcome to reach out and see if I can do an outdoor event. Other than that, I am doing virtual Zoom events. I have a couple of big ones coming up, which are great. So I teach step by step. I get supplies for everybody. I help you get set up and I walk you through it. So try to make it nice, easy, and fun, as little pressure as possible, and try to just make it fun and creative and like something different on Zoom rather than just typically, you know, the regular thing. Anyway, Danielle, Arno, ArtWorx Events. Thank you.
I want to just give a shout out to Danielle. Some of you may or may not know this, but Danielle worked with the Chamber and we did a Thanksgiving virtual paint party, and we combined it with a food drive. And it really worked out so nicely. And we had, I don't know, about 13 or 14 people on the Zoom paint party. And it was so much fun to see, even though we're looking at the same exact object, which Danielle is instructing us on, all the paintings came out completely different. And I love that. It's as diverse as the people on the call. And I want to thank you for doing that. It was a lot of fun, Danielle. And
thank you so much for mentioning it. I appreciate it. I always do. I know you've been saying it a lot. I really do appreciate it more than you know. And I'm so glad you had fun. And what you say is actually what I've been saying for like the 7+ years of my business, that my favorite part of every event is seeing how everyone is similar but different. And that's why I try to even do mine different from the original picture, to show people there's so many different ways to do it. And there's not just like one right way. There's no like wrong way to do it.
And I love the idea. It was a Thanksgiving themed paint party, and gratitude was the theme, and the food collection that we did. The food drive was it was fabulous, and waiting to post some pictures of the food that was collected. And Mark's going over to the food bank to drop everything off, and once he gets pictures to us, we'll post that as well.
Awesome. You know, we could always, you know, there are obviously food pantries are always looking for food. So we could always, you know, no matter what time of the year, do it with that. It doesn't only have to be the holiday time of the year that we do thankfulness and a food drive. Mm-hmm. So maybe we can make it, you know, a regular thing. I know Tamara said about doing another event. If we do another event, we can do another food drive.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Or something like that. It doesn't have to be thankful themed that time. We can still do it seasonal or whatever, but do, you know, still donate or, you know, connect it with some other purpose.
Yes.
I've done a lot of fun. Oh, I'm sorry. And one more thing. I do tons of fundraisers as well. So if you have a cause that's near and dear to your heart, I am happy to work with you to raise money for that. Thank you.
That's good to know. Awesome.
That was a great idea. You know, maybe we should start thinking about doing a food drive once a quarter.
I like that idea.
You know, just so that the fulfill knows that we're going to do something for them each quarter.
Mm-hmm. So is Ann going to pop back on, Bonnie? I saw your.
No, she said she can't hear anything, and she's trying to put stuff in the chat, and it's not coming through.
Right.
So I thought if she went off and came back in, she might have a better connection, but she's not going to come back in then?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh. I put a little bit of her information up there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will do a plug for Ann, because Ann is a big volunteer also of the Chamber. She is a member of the membership committee. And Ann does work for Heartland Payment Systems, and they do all sorts of work with organizations and businesses to get their employees on the payroll system. And I also wanted to just announce that the Chamber is going to be utilizing Heartland Payment Services starting in January. So I'm proud to say we love when we can utilize our members for the services that they provide. It's really hard when you have multiple people doing the same thing because we're only one, you know, business, but we do what we can when we can. And the other thing I wanted to go back to Tom about is he and Ann are co-chairing our Small Business Advisory Council. Tamara is also on that committee. And Tom, I'd like you to just talk a little bit about the council and what's going on and what we can expect. You got to unmute.
Yep. Thank you, Terese. Yeah, I think this is an idea that it was kind of a combination of people that came together, and we thought there might be a need because we all, interact with each other on a pretty much a weekly basis, but we thought there might be a need beyond that to be able to connect and use each other as a resource and tap into expertise in our specific professions and specific fields. And so we thought, that would be a great way to provide, more value to chamber members. It would be a great way to attract new members to the chamber as well. And more importantly, it would be great to help people in terms of things that you might deal with in your business that you might just want to get a sounding board. You just might want to get some consultative advice. And so, whether that's in HR, whether that's in payroll, marketing, sales, whatever, IT, it's going to be a good place for business owners to be able to go to and just be able to have a confidential conversation and get some good resources to help them get, more ideas for their business.
Yeah, great. I am so happy that we are doing this. And thank you, Tom, for the work that you and Ann and Tamara are doing together to create the council. So the way we're going to roll it out is on Friday, January 22nd at that perk at 8 o'clock in the morning. We are going to have Ann and Tom present to the perk, to the folks at the perk, to let them know about the council. We've been talking about it every week, but we are going to actually have a lunch and learn that following Tuesday, the 26th, where everyone's going to be invited to come to a meeting, and we'll talk about the details on what we're doing and how we're doing it and what the resources available are going to be and how people can access that. And so just mark your calendars for those dates. Again, it's going to be Friday, the 22nd of January at 8 a.m. and then Tuesday, the 26th of January at 12 p.m. on a lunch and learn. So thank you, Tom and Ann, for that. And is there any other questions or anything anybody wants to share?
I just want to mention, I'm a member of the Mattawan Chamber, and you were talking about food drives, and what they did for our lunch and learn yesterday is they had everybody, and it was optional if they wanted to or not, to donate $5 towards a food drive.
Nice.
So I'm just giving that as a suggestion to you, and they put it on the registration as an option if you wanted to donate or not donate.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice. Thanks for that idea. Awesome. And the other thing the chamber is doing, I love the community service that the chamber has going on besides the food drive. We do an annual holiday party with the Bayshore Senior Center where we serve them dinner, dessert, and we have chamber entertainment from the members. I love how talented our members are, where they do play instruments and sing and entertain the seniors. And we usually do that around the holidays and on St. Patrick's, around St. Patrick's Day, we do the corned beef and cabbage. And this month, obviously, we can't do anything for them. So what we did as a chamber is we put word out there and we decided to make 80 gift bags for 80 seniors of the Bayshore Community Center. And we're filling the bags. And I have to give a shout out to Holly at BCB Bank in Homedale. She donated $300 towards that cause. I know Matali was just on the call a little while ago. It's Matali and her husband Prakash are from CMIT Solutions. They are the technology support group. They also donated $300 towards that. And a few other folks donated some money so we can get enough stuff for the gift bags. And this weekend, the gift bags are being put together and they're going to be given to the woman in charge of the community center and distributed to the seniors. And we're doing gift cards to the local stores and grocery shops and restaurants so that they can go you know, have a little gift from the chamber and let them know that we're thinking about them during the holidays. So yeah, so I love that. So if anybody, I have to say that this chamber listens to its members. If you guys have an idea, a suggestion, a concern, even a complaint, let us know what it is, because we take action. We want this to be the best chamber. We are county-wide and we're regional. So like Bonnie was saying, I loved her plug. We do have members that cross the borders and touches the county from all sides. So thank you all. If there's anything else anybody wants to say, Anne, I know you're back. I tried to do what I could to plug you.
I truly apologize.
Oh, we can hear
you.
Yay. Yay. So Anne, since we can hear you, can we see you or no?
No, I don't know what's going on. I'm showing video, but
okay,
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, why don't you introduce yourself? We all were introducing you for you when you dropped off. So.
First and foremost, to Faz and Brian, thank you for the presentation. I heard it was the wheel. You were going around in the circle with the 6 C's. I didn't get any further than that, so I do apologize. I'll catch the replay, so thank you for that. My name is Anne Dubon Murphy. I'm a senior product advisor with Heartland Payment Systems. I work with small to medium-sized businesses on everything for their back-end needs, payroll, merchant card processing, e-commerce. I do believe with the small business owner, it is their name on the door. It's not 9 to 5, it's 24/7, 365. And you know, anything I can do to help them, I'm happy to do. Okay. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Excellent. And Anne, I gave you a shout out working with Tom on the Small Business Advisory Council. So I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And we did mention the dates of the rollout and the perk.
Oh, great. Great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Anything? Faz and Brian, why don't you guys have the last word before we end the meeting?
So Brian is the new guy here, so I'll let him go first. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, everyone, we wanted to thank you for the time, and we certainly appreciate it. I'm looking forward to becoming more involved with the chamber along with Faz. I hope everybody has a very happy holiday and happy new year. We'll talk soon.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you so much. And thank you, Brian and Faz, for a fabulous, very informational and helpful presentation. We look forward to seeing everybody soon. Oh, the last thing I'm going to wrap with is next Thursday, we're doing our first actual class with Brookdale, and it's called Stress Management for Better Health. So that is now up on our events calendar. You can register now. It's going to be limited to about 20 people. It's from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. It is a real class that Brookdale is going to be teaching for chamber members. So if anybody's interested, it's a complimentary class. They have a grant from NJBIA, the New Jersey Business Industry Association. And we're lucky enough to have one of the Brookdale employees on our board, and they made the class available to us as a group. So shout out to Jim Murphy and his team at Brookdale, and NJBIA for having the grant at Brookdale for everyone to enjoy. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.